Hello everybody, Thomas here and welcome back to SFF180. It is Monday, February the 26th, and time once again for the mailbag. It has been a while since I've seen you folks. I'm so glad to be back. I have had a lot of things that have taken me away from the office lately, of a personal nature. Had to go out of town for about a week, things like that. Nothing serious, just things I had to do. But I am back, and it feels good, finally, to be back in front of the camera and doing some content for you guys. All this time away means, yeah, the mail has stacked up. We've got a big mailbag. It's going to be really exciting to get through. Quick announcement, I have really been enjoying the reading. I did get reading done on my trip. That was a plus for Black History Month. A lot of good books, some good SFF. Matt Olson, the lucky bastard, is off in LA with his family doing all the theme parks and the rides and the Harry Potter world and the Disney World and stuff like that. Much needed vacation for him, but you know, he's going to be back midweek, and then he does me some thumbnails and some of these new reviews of these books start going up, and it's all very exciting. And then the BookTube SFF Awards read-alongs are going to be happening beginning in March. I believe I'm leading the read-along for Jeff Vandermeer's Born. Think so, pretty sure of that. So, lots of stuff coming up. Stay tuned here. Channel's going to be busy over the next few weeks, finally, and let's get into these books without further ado. And this first one I'm going to open up looks like it is from Saga Press. It's got 2 books in it, so let's see what they are. And it is a bunch of Saga stuff, and this is kind of a nice surprise. This is Imposter Syndrome. It is the 3rd Arcadia Project novel from Michelle Baker after Borderline and Phantom Pains, and I was not aware that they were doing a hardcover of this one. It's probably one of those, Saga has started doing this thing where some of their releases they're doing simultaneous hardcovers and trade paperbacks, although you know, if you want the hardcovers, you probably have to get them online, because I think a lot of the brick and mortar stores are just taking the trade paperbacks. But anyway, Imposter Syndrome, it is here on the 13th. And then next up in the same envelope is The Tangled Lands from Saga. This is supposed to come out tomorrow on the 27th, but I have actually seen this in at least one Barnes & Noble already, so it's getting out a bit early some locations. But this is a new book, team up by Paolo Bacigalupi and Tobias Buckle, and it was on my anticipated fantasy for 2018 list, but I'll just read this really quickly here. They don't do sell sheets for they just do like these little slips of paper with the date and everything, but okay, Khaim, K-H-A-I-M, the last great city of a decaying empire, clings to life. The living memory of the empire's great city of Jandpara is told in the hovels of the refugee camps across the river in Lesser Khaim. The other cities are buried under cloying, poisonous bramble. It is a world where magic destroys. Every time a spell is cast, a bit of bramble sprouts, sending up tangling vines, bloody thorns, and a poisonous sleep. That does not sound good. It sprouts in tilled fields and in neighbors' roof beams, thrusts up from between cobblestones. I'm having a weird tongue-twisty time trying to read this. It's funny. Anyway, it bursts forth from sacks of powdered spice. A bit of magic and bramble follows, a little at first and then more, until whole cities are dragged down under tangling vines, monuments to people who loved magic too much. Teams of workers fight a losing battle to preserve the environment against the growing bramble. So as you see, it's a fantasy story that is a metaphor for, you know, environmental disaster and change and things like that. To practice magic is to tempt death at the hands of the mob, yet the city of Khaim is ruled by a tyrant and the most powerful of defilers, the last great magister of the world. Okay, so Paolo Bacigalupi and Tobias Buckle explore a shared world where magic is forbidden and its use is rewarded with the executioner's axe. A world of glittering memories and a desperate present where everyone uses a little magic and someone else always pays the price. So The Tangled Lands is available tomorrow. All right, and so you can expect a review of this one very soon. And next up, this feels like it's going to be a random Penguin hardcover. It is, and this one looks kind of cool. It's called Daughters of the Storm. The author is Kim Wilkins. Comes out on the 6th of March from Del Rey Books. a new fantasy epic that follows the lives and struggles of 5 very different sisters: the warrior, the magician, the lover, the zealot, and the gossip, and the stepbrother who wants to take the kingdom they are trying to save. They are the daughters of the king, but though they share the same royal blood, they could not be more different. Bluebell is a proud warrior. I'm sorry. I'm never not going to think of ice cream when I see that name. Stronger than any man, and with an ironclad heart to match. Rose's heart is all too passionate. The queen of a neighboring kingdom, she is risking everything for a forbidden love. Ash is discovering a dangerous talent for magic that might be a gift or a curse. And then there are the twins, vain Ivy, who lives for admiration, and zealous Willow, who lives for the gods. Yet when their father is stricken by mysterious ailment, these 5 sisters must embark together on a desperate journey to save him and prevent their treacherous stepbrother from seizing the throne. Their mission: find the elusive and dangerous witch Eldra, their one hope to cure the king. But to succeed on their quest, the sisters must overcome the differences and hope that the secrets they hide from one another and the world are never brought to light. Oh dear, because if this royal family breaks, it could destroy the kingdom. We hope you enjoy the start of this exciting new series in the tradition of Naomi Novik, Peter V. Brett, and Robin Hobb. Okay then, well, Daughters of the Storm by Kim Wilkins, as I said, comes out on the 6th of March from Del Rey. Let me know in the comments. Yeah, pretty promising start to the week. This one looks like it is from Pyre Books, Prometheus. And this is Blade and Bone. It is the 3rd book in John Sprunk's series, The Book of the Black Earth, and this comes out tomorrow on the 27th. I have all of these. You know, I get sent so many things, and I have seen this trilogy developing. I got the first 2 volumes are Blood and Iron and Storm and Steel. I have both of those, and now we have Blade and Bone, and I assume that this is going to wrap it all up. But it says, in a world of sorcery and sand, a slave rebellion is out of control and an army of undead is approaching. Does Horus have the power and strength to save what he fought so hard to win? It says, in a setting reminiscent of ancient Egypt and Babylon. Neat. Where god kings and god queens hold the power of life and death in their hands, Horus, the one-time slave who became a powerful magician, has, well, I guess don't want to give away spoilers, but presumably started out and led this kind of Spartacus thing, and now he's doing much better for himself than he was when he was a slave, but now more problems are arising. In Blade and Bone from John Sprunk. This could be a series worth catching up on, perhaps. God knows I'm overdue on 10 million series. But this one comes out, like I said, from Pyre Books tomorrow. And a very thin little package from Random Penguin. And this one, I don't know if it'll be particularly easy to make out the cover. You know, kind of small on camera, but this is a new book by Daniel H. Wilson, who is the author of books like Robopocalypse and The Clockwork Dynasty. This is a short story collection called Guardian Angels and Other Monsters. It comes out on the 6th of March. It says, an enthralling and fantastic collection of stories that explores complex emotional and intellectual landscapes at the intersection of artificial intelligence and human life. In All Kinds of Proof, a down-and-out drunk makes the unlikeliest of friends when he is hired to train a mail-carrying robot. In Blood Memory, a mother confronts the dangerous reality that her daughter will never assimilate in this world after she is the first child born through a teleportation device. In The Blue Afternoon That Lasted Forever, a physicist rushes home to be with his daughter after he hears reports of an atmospheric anomaly that he knows to be a sign of the end of the Earth. I've actually read that one. In Miss Gloria, a robot comes back to life in many different forms on a quest to save a young girl. Showcasing the brilliance and depth of Daniel H. Wilson's imagination, there it is, Guardian Angels and Other Monsters is a masterful collection that probes the profound impact of the rise of digital intelligence in a human world. And it comes out, like I said, from Vintage Books on the 6th of March. And yet more from Random Penguin. Let's see what the penguin has brought in his little penguin sleigh. And this is a new hardcover by Patricia Briggs, the author of the Mercy Thompson series, of which I am emphatically not a fan. But she's a very popular urban fantasy author, and this book is called Burn Bright, and it is the newest in her series Alpha and Omega, which is all about werewolves and shapeshifters and things like that. So if you are a big fan of this kind of urban fantasy, then you'll be happy to see this is on the way. There is no sell sheet in here, so it is a March title though, so it could be the 6th, it could be the week after, but in any event, this is, I guess, Ace Books' big March hardcover release by Patty Briggs, Burn Bright. And next up for the YA crowd, here's one that everyone will be happy to see. I didn't know this was coming out so quickly, but this is available March the 13th, and this is Obsidio, and it is the 3rd volume, presumably the final book in the trilogy, the Illuminae Files, sequel, of course, to Illuminae, which I read and reviewed, and Gemina, which I have not yet reviewed. But I remember thinking Illuminae was, pretty good, certainly not up to the hype that it got, but an interesting, fun little attempt to do what it did. And this is now wrapping up on the 13th, featuring more captivating journal illustrations, by best-selling author Marie Lu. Oh, okay. All right, so don't want to give away too many plot spoiler details, but yeah, movie rights have been optioned, etc., etc. Watch for a new standalone trilogy, Lifelike, by Jay Kristoff on May 29th. Plus a new series co-written by Amy and Jay in spring 2019, so we're looking ahead. All right then, but the 3rd volume of the Illuminae Files, Obsidio, arriving on the 13th of March. And this feels like a hardcover from HarperCollins. And it is. This is one that I've already gotten in ARC form, but the finished copy is now here and looks very pretty indeed. Epic fantasy for modern readers, it says. This is Blood of the Four. It is a new epic fantasy, a collaboration between Christopher Golden and Tim Leben. Let's see, it's a standalone. Comes out on the 6th of March. It says, in the great kingdom of Quandis, everyone is a slave. Some are slaves to the gods, most are slaves to everyone else. Blessed by the gods with lives of comfort and splendor, the royal elite routinely perform their duties, yet some chafe at their role. A young woman of stunning ambition, Princess Phila, refuses to allow a few obstacles, including her mother the queen and her brother the heir apparent, stand in the way of claiming ultimate power and glory for herself. Far below the royals are the Bajuman, one of those. Poor and oppressed members of this wretched caste have but 2 paths out of servitude, the priesthood or death. Because magic has been kept at bay in Quandis, royals and Bajuman have lived together in an uneasy peace for centuries, but Princess Phila's desire for power will disrupt the realm's order, setting into motion a series of events that will end with her becoming a goddess in her own right, or ultimately destroying Quandis and all its inhabitants, which would be pretty drastic. But anyway, Blood of the Four, okay, maybe doesn't sound like the most original premise in the history of the world, but a standalone fantasy comes out on the 6th of March from Harper Voyager. Let me know in the comments. And this little package is from Random Penguin. And it's the paperback release of Waking Gods by Sylvain Neuvel. This is the 2nd book in the Themis Files, his series following Sleeping Giants, which I was not a fan of. This one is a finalist in the BookTube SFF Awards in the science fiction category, so I'm going to be catching up and reading it. But the trade paperback edition, for those of you who are now looking forward to doing the BookTube SFF Awards read-alongs, then you'll be happy to know this comes out on the 13th. And then Only Human, the 3rd book, will be out on May the 1st. So the whole premise behind this is that an ancient giant alien battle robot of some origin is found buried in pieces all around the world, and the characters track the pieces again, put the robot together, and now hopefully we'll get more robot stuff. But there wasn't enough robot stuff, interesting robot stuff in the 1st book, I thought, but we'll see if Waking Gods is any better. But anyway, it comes out on the 13th from Delray Books. I already have this as an ARC and as a hardcover, so I'll probably be donating this paperback to my library, but like I said, on the 13th of March for the rest of you. All right, this is a nice little package to see. This comes from Skyhorse Publishing. Skyhorse have the Nightshade and Talos imprints for science fiction. Haven't heard from them for a while, so it's nice to hear back from them. I thought they didn't love me anymore. That would have been sad. Okay, well, this is a way to get my attention. This is the ARC for a new anthology, an Ellen Datlow edited anthology of horror stories of the sea. They definitely know how to push my buttons there, because nothing scares the living shit out of me quite like the deep ocean. Don't know why, it's just my thing. Anyway, this comes out on the, well, it's in March. Does it have an exact date? It just says March, but no actual date. Well, maybe the 6th, who knows. Stranded on a desert island, a young man yearns for objects from his past. A local from a small coastal town in England is found dead as the tide goes out. A Norwegian whaling ship is stranded in the Arctic, its crew threatened by mysterious forces. In the 19th century, a ship drifts in becalmed waters in the Indian Ocean, those on it haunted by their evil deeds. A surfer, turned diver, discovers there are things worse than drowning under the sea. Something from the sea is creating monsters on land. In The Devil and the Deep, award-winning editor Ellen Datlow shares an all-original anthology of horror that covers the depths of the deep blue sea with brand new stories from people like Shannon McGuire, Christopher Golden, Stephen Graham Jones. That's exciting. Let's have a look. Let's see. Who all is in this? Let's just look through the whole deal here. Okay, well, some Bradley Denton. Oh, buddy Bradley is back. Alyssa Wong has a story in here. That's exciting. John Langan, author of The Fisherman. That's very exciting. Brian Hodge, Michael Marshall Smith, and then, okay, Christopher Golden, I think might have already listed, and then some authors I'm not familiar with, so some new discoveries. This is very cool. All right, then. The Devil and the Deep in March from Nightshade Books. Let me know in the comments. Okay, moving on down. This one is from Macmillan. Oh, cool. Here's one that I've been looking forward to. It is on, I do believe, my anticipated Fantasy 2018 list. This is an arc for a new book coming out from Tor on July the 3rd. The author is Sam Hawke. It's a debut novel. It's called, as you see, City of Lies. The first book in a series called Poison War. And it's getting some good buzz. Robin Hobb says, if the first line doesn't make you buy this book, you should turn in your fantasy lover's badge. That is a good line. Jovan is the lifelong friend of the Chancellor's charming, irresponsible heir. Quiet, forgettable, in secret he's a master of poisons and chemicals, trained to protect the Chancellor's family from treachery. When the Chancellor succumbs to an unknown poison, and an army lays siege to the city, Jovan and his sister Kalina must protect the heir and save their city-state. But treachery lurks in every corner, and the ancient spirits of the land are rising and angry. Visceral and immediate, City of Lies combines the politics and court intrigue of King's Landing with pulse-pounding tension of Helm's Deep, perfect for fans of Scott Lynch, Joe Abercrombie, Robin Hobb, and Naomi Novik. City of Lies has great crossover and will appeal to older teen readers interested in epic fantasy. Alright then. So, on July the 3rd, from Tor Books, City of Lies. Looks pretty cool. Might want to dig into it fairly soon. But let me know in the comments. Okay, we're moving right along here. This just feels like it's going to be a mass market paperback from Random Penguin. So let's have a look at it real quick. It is, and this is something I really don't usually ever see from Ace Books. This is an arc for a mass market paperback, which is itself a mass market paperback. Don't usually see that. But this comes out July the 3rd. This is Marked. It is the new Alex Virus novel by Benedict Jacka. This is an urban fantasy series that I must shamefacedly admit have not dug into yet. And this is book 9. So that's another thing about urban fantasy series, right? They just go on. When mage Alex Virus ends up with a position on the Light Council, no one is happy, least of all him, but Alex is starting to realize that if he wants to protect his friends, he'll need to become a power player himself. His first order of business, track down dangerous magical items unleashed into the world by dark mages. Okay, I suppose you could look up online and benedictjacka.co.uk is the guy's website, and find out a little bit more all about what Alex Virus does and what his series entails. But anyway, book 9 will be out on July the 3rd. It's called Marked from Ace Books. Okay, one more here. Now this one feels like a big old chunky book. Again, Random Penguin. And this is the trade paperback version of Firebrand, book by Kristen Britton, the most recent book in her Green Rider series. And from what I understand from long-time fans of this series, which I think this is maybe book 6 by now, started out with Green Rider and then has gone on. She's been working on this for about 10 years or so now. The previous book, Mirror Sight, was a disappointment, I hear, to some fans of the series, but Firebrand, some of them say she's kind of back on form with this one. But I guess this now in trade paperback, again, I don't actually have a sell sheet or a date, but I will guess will probably be out like around the 6th of March from Doll Books. Oh, here's another one from Skyhorse. So Okay then, this one looks very pretty. This is an epic fantasy novel, as you might be able to tell, from Nightshade, and it is out right now, apparently, in hardcover. Came out on the 20th, it says. The author is Tina LeCount Myers. And it says, The Song of All is the first book in a gritty epic fantasy series set in an Arctic world, inspired by Scandinavian indigenous culture. My Finnish grandfather told me stories about fighting in World War II, says the author, about hiding in the snowy forests for weeks and how it felt like he'd entered another world. My fascination with this other world hounded me until I wrote the book. Okay. A few years ago, it looks like the backstory behind how this novel got written is going to be at least as interesting as the book. A few years ago, Tina received a letter from her cousin Bjorn in Finland. I'm writing to you about your grandparents' grave, the letter began. My father and uncles paid it the last time, but they are gone. Do you have any interest to come to Finland sometime? The summer is best on the island, as you probably remember. Your picture's on the wall with your grandfather and grandmother. That sounds very strange. Writing the series led Tina on an incredible journey to reconnect with her Finnish family and the land of her mother's birth. Inspired by her family's homeland, Tina set the Song of All in the forbidding fringes of the tundra, where years are marked by seasons of snow. Humans war with the mortals in the name of their shared gods. Well, that was definitely a problem when I went to Worldcon. All this like warring going on between the locals and these damn gods, you know, made a lot of noise and caused a lot of mess while we were busy trying to attend the convention. But you know, we kind of, you know, soldier on through it. What else can you do? Urgen, a human warrior, is ruthless and lethal, a legend among the brethren of hunters. But even legends grow tired and disillusioned. Scarred and weary of bloodshed, Urgen turns his back on his oath and his calling to hide away and live a peaceful life as a farmer, husband, and father. But, there's always a but, his past is not so easily left behind. When an ambitious village priest conspires with the vengeful comrades Urgen has forsaken, the fragile peace in the northlands of Daviana, is at stake. His bloody past revealed, Urgen's present unravels as he faces an ultimatum: return to hunt the immortals or lose his child. But with his son's life hanging in the balance, as Urgen follows the tracks through the dark and desolate snow-covered forests, it is not death he searches for, but life. Okay, kind of cool. So, I mean, I like the Arctic, you know, the snowy wastes. I like that setting for stories generally. So, yeah, The Song of All, evidently out right now. From Nightshade Books by Tina LeCount Myers. All right, getting a little close to the bottom now. Almost done. We have this one again. Looks like another Saga Press package. It is a Saga package, and these are a couple of arcs, and I am super squeefully excited about these. First one is Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Rowanhorse, debut novel. She has just been nominated for Nebula for short story. Definitely on my anticipated list, and very, very much excited about this one. Post-apocalyptic tale, while most of the world has drowned beneath the sudden rising waters of a climate apocalypse. Deneta, formerly the Navajo Reservation, has been reborn. The gods and heroes of legend walk the land, but so do monsters. Maggie Hosky is a Deneta monster hunter, a supernaturally gifted killer. When a small town needs help finding a missing girl, Maggie is their best hope. But what Maggie uncovers about the monster is much more terrifying than anything she could imagine. Maggie reluctantly enlists the aid of Kai Arviso, an unconventional medicine man, and together they travel the res, unraveling clues from ancient legends, trading favors with tricksters, and battling dark witchcraft in a patchwork world of deteriorating technology. As Maggie discovers the truth behind the killings, she will have to confront her past if she wants to survive. Welcome to the Sixth World. And that is the name of the series that this opens. Okay. Again, June the 26th from Saga Press. Yeah, very excited for this one. Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Rowanhorse. And next up we have the arc for European Travel for the Monstrous Gentlewoman. And this comes out in July the 10th to be exact. And this is the sequel to The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter, which is, I believe, a Nebula finalist for Best Novel. But this buddy is fat. Much bigger than the first one. It's like 700 pages. Very cool to see. So let's have a look at this one. Mary Jekyll's life has been peaceful since she helped Sherlock Holmes do what they did in the first book. So let's see. But when Mary receives a telegram saying that Lucinda Van Helsing has been kidnapped, the Athena Club must travel to the Austro-Hungarian Empire to rescue yet another young woman who has been subjected to horrific experimentation. Where is Lucinda, and what has Professor Van Helsing been doing to his daughter? Can Mary, Diana, Beatrice, Catherine, and Justine reach her in time? See, this series apparently is all about, like, you know, all the women in, like, the famous horror families, like the Jekylls and the Frankensteins and the Van Helsings and all of that. You know, I think mainly the daughters, right? So, racing against the clock to save Lucinda from certain doom, the Athena Club embarks on a madcap journey across Europe, from Paris to Vienna to Budapest. Mary and her friends must make new allies, face old enemies, and finally confront the fearsome, secretive Alchemical Society. It's time for these monstrous gentlewomen to overcome the past and create their own destinies. All right then, so, you know, far-flung European travel and adventure and monster fighting on July the 10th from Theodora Goss. European travel for the monstrous gentlewoman. Those were very cool to see. All right, getting down the stack, we just have 2 left. This one is from Random Penguin. And these are a couple of mass market paperbacks from Daw Books. As you see here, we have the latest Maraday novel from my buddy Marshall Ryan Maresca. This is Lady Henterman's Wardrobe. This is the second in his Streets of Maraday series. What he's doing, in case you haven't, you know, heard me describe this before, is he has his world, which is this kind of, you know, sort of Fritz Leiber, Scott Lynchian, you know, thieves and rogues kind of tales in a fantasy setting. And then within the world, within the city of Maraday itself, he has these different story arcs going along with their individual series. This one is maybe like the 7th book he's published overall, but it's the 2nd Streets of Maraday novel, following the Holver Alley crew. And so it's basically the street gang and their adventures. And I believe that they have a heist to pull off involving, you know, the so-called Lady Henterman's wardrobe, as it were. And then next up we have Tricks for Free, which is Shauna Maguire's latest encrypted book. Now, you know, for everybody who loves the Wayward Children novellas, and they're like wildly popular, but you know, Shauna Maguire is super prolific. And, you know, she has, you know, these other series that have been going on for quite a while. And Tricks for Free, I think, is, what is this one going to be now for the encrypted book? She's done, like, I don't know, 15 or so, 12 or so October Day novels. Another one of those coming out soon. This is this is the 7th encrypted novel. Okay, Tricks for Free. Both of these are March Daw releases. I'm going to guess March the 6th in mass market paperback. And finally, last but by no means least, we have a package from Random Penguin. And happily, we're ending on a high note this time, because this is one that I've been looking forward to for some time. I've already got it penciled in for, you know, my TBR for this year's Halloween. You know, I always try to get an early start on those, but this comes out on March the 6th. The author is Alma Katsu, and this is called The Hunger, and this is a horror novel set it's about the Donner Party. We all know about the Donner Party. If we do not, if you're from overseas or something like that, the Donner Party is this infamous situation that happened in American history with the whole Wagons West thing. Basically a wagon train going out west to, you know, just regular families trying to, you know, seek their futures and their fortunes, as it were. They took a wrong turn in the mountains. If they had gone one way, they would have made it to their destination. Everything would have been awesome. But they took the wrong turn and ended up stranded in a desperate situation that ultimately resulted in, you know, well, cannibalism, right? I mean, straight up, that's what they're known for, right? They got so desperate that they began to eat their own dead. And so, yay, happy tales. There is a terrific nonfiction book about the Donner Party that I read a few years ago that I very much recommend if you want to find out facts. The author, not off the top of my head, I'm not remembering, but the name of the book is The Indifferent Stars Above. So you look that up on Amazon and read that. Very good sort of narrative history about, you know, what went wrong and how it went wrong. But this is a novel, a horror novel set in that scenario. And so, yeah, very keen to get into this. So The Hunger by Alma Katsu on the 6th of March. And there we have it. That is the big pile of books that showed up while I was out of town for a couple of weeks. Good to get through them all. You guys know the drill. Light up those comments. Let me know which of these looks most interesting and exciting to you, and which you would like to see me prioritize for review. Just looked this weekend, have tipped up over 4,700 subs. That's awesome. Thank you all so much. Remember, 5,000, you get the big Q&A. So let's sort of try to push for that one. All right. But otherwise, if you enjoyed watching, please leave a like, share the video far and wide with all your SFF reading friends, and above all, please sub, because that's how the channel grows. You can also support the channel at my TeePublic store and at my Patreon, where recruits into Wink's army get little perks like getting to see these videos early. I want to thank those people for their additional support. I want to thank all of you for being fantastic viewers. And until I see all of you next time, happy reading.